Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the BJCC, Kiwanis Club of Birmingham member Tad Snyder. And before Larry introduces our speaker, I want to take just a minute to invite Tad to the podium to share an update on the highly anticipated Coca-Cola amphitheater, which I know we're all following progress on, and wanted to get a quick update before we invite Larry and Mike up. So let's give our head table a round of applause.
I'm always a believer, a picture's just worth 1,000 words. So you're going to see on the screen behind me just some construction progress images. Let me first say how pleased I am that the history between Coca-Cola Bottling United and the BJCC runs deep. In some way or another, they've been our pouring rights partner since the beginning, since 1974. Certainly, having most of our facilities, or all our facilities now with the incorporation of 2 hotels, we couldn't be more proud that this latest endeavor, this community partnership we've had, which is another great example of public-private partnership involving the BJCC, of course, Live Nation, who's going to be our managing partner for the amphitheater, and a significant investor in the project, along with the City of Birmingham, Jefferson County, some lodging tax funds that were formerly going to our convention bureau from the Sheraton Birmingham and the Western Birmingham that are part of the mix for the debt service, as well as now what we're excited to call Coca-Cola Amphitheater. You can see we're moving quickly towards a May construction finish. We, I guess, for whatever reason, like to do projects under a heavy deadline and heavy timeline. So we're going to be roughly 1 year from sticking a shovel in the dirt to the first show that's going to be held at Coca-Cola Amphitheater. You might have seen at the very beginning of the video, that first show is Matt Rife. So we started off with a comedian to take a little bit of pressure off. But you can see construction's progressing well. Hopefully these images give you an idea kind of just how the amphitheater is going to be situated on the site. We're really pleased as well that the City of Birmingham just recently announced a Phase 1 infrastructure package that's going to deal with street resurfacing, sidewalks, street lighting, landscaping around the area of the amphitheater. Again, with the goal, the amphitheater is situated in Druid Hills. Right across Caraway Boulevard is Norwood, and then Fountain Heights and Evergreen are right there as well. That this project, just like everything else we do around the BJCC, benefits those neighborhoods as well. You have to start somewhere. This is going to be the first piece of it. You've probably heard from the developer working on the overall Star Uptown project, Corporate Realty and Robert Simon. Really excited about what this is going to do for those neighborhoods. But hopefully you can see from the images that we've moved quickly this year. We're kind of about 67, 68% complete with construction. Again, all those key milestones and everything we need to critical path items are lining up again for a late May construction finish, turn over to Live Nation to begin to place furniture, fixtures, and equipment here that last couple of weeks. And a great show at the end of June with Matt Rife. And I'm sure you've seen a number of shows already announced. Has anybody bought tickets to a show at the amphitheater yet? That's a great show of hands. Just again, couldn't be more honored this project has worked out to be Coca-Cola Amphitheater with such a wonderful partner for our city and community. And thank you very much. That's the update.
Hello, Kiwanians. Kiwanis, welcome. We love new members. So I introduced Mike this morning to Susanna Schuler. They started speaking Spanish. I felt so left out of the conversation, but glad that you all were able to finally meet. Jim Gorey, how are you? We like to stay close to Jim. He builds everything that we operate. And I suppose that if we were to build a pump house, we want Brasfield Gorey to design it for us. Mike Suco, my friend, and directs the finest company in Birmingham. Jim, did you hear that? He is president and CEO of Coca-Cola Bottling Company United. Coca-Cola United operates 50 facilities across 6 states: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee, employing over 10,000 associates, which we are very, very proud Prior to his current role, Mike was Senior Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer. He served as United's East Division. Now, I'm trying to do the short version, Mike, but this is significant. From 2016 to 2021, based in Atlanta, where he led the integration of the Atlanta market unit, the company's largest territory acquisition. Now imagine going to bed one day and waking up the next day to 2,000 additional associates and 13,000 new customers. And Mike, it was seamless. Now I say that, but I know that a lot of work had to go into that. But from our perspectives and your reports, it was seamless. Mike's career in the Coca-Cola system began in 1996 as a market development manager for the Coca-Cola company, and he would later join Coca-Cola United in 1999. Some of the industry organizations that Mike is a part of in terms of a board service are the Coca-Cola Bottlers Association, the Dr. Pepper Bottlers Association, and the American Beverage Association. From a professional and from a personal perspective, Mike is solidly committed to building a better community. I know that firsthand by working with him. He serves on boards of such as the Smithsonian Museum of the American Latino, Oglethorpe University, the Fernbank Museum of Natural History, the Hispanic Business Council, and the YMCA of Greater Birmingham. Mike grew up in Jacksonville, Alabama. He is married to Shelley, 26 years. They have 2 kids, Bella and Mike Jr. Now, I've heard whispers about some new facility that's coming, our home office, and I'm sure Mike's going to touch on that. I've heard a few whispers about an amphitheater that's about to go up. Stole my thunder there. Mike's going to talk about that. But I would consider Mike remiss if he did not talk about his remarkable family story. So I hope that he'll find some time to share some of that with you. I think you'll be just as impressed as I am. Fellow Kiwanians, please join me in welcoming up the President and CEO, Coca-Cola Bottling Company United, Mike Suco.
I love when Larry introduces me. It makes me sound like I've actually done a lot of stuff. Larry, thank you so much for that. And, thank you for what you're doing to inspire people with the Why Not Win Institute. For me personally, it's one of the greatest programs that I've ever been through. We put our associates through it. We're expanding it across all our facilities. We're a big part of that. But you're absolutely making a difference in people's lives. And I would say to you, if you've not had an opportunity to read his book, please do so. It's the only book I ever read twice, back to back in 2 days. It's an impressive story, but also one of perseverance and success. And I think Larry's been one of our longest board members at United and worked for Coke United for many years before he decided to go do his entrepreneurial thing, which I think turned out okay for him. So I think you're going to be okay, Larry. We appreciate it. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here today, and I'm very appreciative of y'all inviting me back. The fact that y'all invited me to come back after a couple of years, I think, is a positive sign, so I'm thankful for that. But before I start, I would like to acknowledge and just the appreciation I have for what the Kiwanis does in the community and the involvement that they have and the work that you're doing with the children and the expansion of education programs. It's just phenomenal. And for us at Coke United, this is one of the things that's really part of our core values, is investing and giving back in the community. So I appreciate everything that y'all are doing in the community and doing that, these programs like what you shared with us a little while ago. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our past and a little bit about our future. And although it is true that the Coca-Cola brand originated in Atlanta, Georgia, Coca-Cola United Bottling Company originated here in Birmingham in 1902. And Birmingham actually has a great history and legacy in the total global Coca-Cola business. Chattanooga, Tennessee also is very tied to us and has a long history with Coca-Cola as well. So let me take you to the beginnings. So Coca-Cola began in 1886. There's a gentleman named John Pemberton. He was a pharmacist, and he came up with the recipe for this great drink called Coca-Cola. Now, he had a pharmacy in Atlanta, and he would sell Coca-Cola at that pharmacy. But a few years later, he decided to sell the formula and sell the business, and he sold it to this gentleman named Mr. Asa Candler. Mr. Candler was a really good businessman, and he bought the company. Now, at the time, the only way you could get a Coca-Cola was they would pour syrup in a glass, they would shoot it full of bubbly water, they would stir it up, and they would hand it across the counter to you at the fountain shop or at the pharmacy. And two lawyers from Chattanooga, Tennessee had an idea, and their names were Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead. And that idea was that they wanted to bottle Coca-Cola because nobody was bottling it at the time, and that would make Coca-Cola available anywhere. So they went and they met with Mr. Candler, and they made the pitch, and he sat there patiently and he listened to them talk about this Coca-Cola bottling company concept that they wanted to do. Think about it like a franchise that they would be able to go sell across the United States. And he listened patiently, and as the story goes, he thought it was about the dumbest idea he had ever heard. But he signed an agreement with them, and he signed an agreement, and he gave Mr. Thomas and Mr. Whitehead the right to go sell bottling territories all across the United States. And this is an actual copy of the agreement. And I know we have some fellow lawyers in the room that could appreciate this, but please note the length of that agreement, which is roughly a page and a half, and honestly it's less than that because half the page is signatures. I haven't seen one this short in a long time. So you can see that back then it was just a little less concern. But he signed that contract, and Mr. Thomas and Mr. Whitehead paid Mr. Candler exactly $1 for those bottling rights, $1. And it is considered one of the most famous documents in American commerce, in the history of American commerce. Now, don't feel sorry for Mr. Candler. He was a very, very bright man. And although he only generated $1 of revenue from that contract, he put two stipulations in that agreement which made him a very wealthy man and his family. Number one was that all the syrup that the bottling companies used must be purchased through Mr. Candler and the Coca-Cola Company, no exceptions. And the second one, and as important, was that every Coca-Cola bottling company must adhere to the quality standards that Mr. Candler and the Coca-Cola Company designed. And that ensured that every Coke you ever had tasted the same no matter where it was in the world, of the highest quality and of the highest standard. So with these contracts in hand, Joseph Whitehead and Mr. Thomas began to sell these bottling companies. And the very first one they sold was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That is the world's first Coca-Cola bottler, which we're very fortunate to be part of our United family today and one of our franchises that we have. Now, in addition to being the home of the world's first Coca-Cola bottler, Chattanooga was also the home to a young law clerk, and his name was Crawford Johnson Sr. You may be familiar with Mr. Johnson, as you see here. Mr. Johnson Sr. would move to Birmingham. He borrowed $12,000, and he created this little startup called Birmingham Coca-Cola, and he did it in 1902. He started with one associate. He rented a mule. Couldn't even buy one at that time. He rented a mule, and that's how he started his company. Back in the day, the way the company decided your franchise territories in a lot of cases was how far your mule can travel back and forth in a day. We call that supply chain today, but that was how they determined, that's how they determined the territories. And he did pretty well. This is Claude Nielsen, our retired chairman and CEO, who is a great man. Love to show this picture because at one time in 1910, Birmingham Coca-Cola was the largest bottler in the world, and we were even bigger than Atlanta, which I know Mr. Johnson loved to tell people about. But that's how many gallons they sold back in the day. Now, this is our timeline. If you look from left to right, we were founded in 1902. That's the original plant that you see there. Now, fast forward to 1942, during World War II. Crawford Johnson Sr. and his wife Caroline had two boys. One was named Crawford Johnson Jr., and Alan Johnson. Both of those boys had enrolled and were serving in the U.S. military during World War II. And unfortunately, in 1942, Mr. Johnson Sr. passed away suddenly. The boys were at war, and so Miss Johnson actually took over as president of our company and ran that company for several years until they came back from service. That was obviously not a norm for that time, but we've had wonderful, strong female leadership in our business across our 123 years, and we were proud to have her run the company when she did. Fast forward to 2014, the map that you see on the top, that's what our company looked like in terms of geography in 2013. The Coca-Cola company had purchased a lot of territory around the United States, and they had decided they were going to get out of the bottling business. And as a matter of fact, they didn't run it very well, so it was good that they did. But they decided to sell some of those territories to a handful of bottlers, and we were very fortunate to be one of those bottlers. And if you look down below that, the map underneath 2017, that's what we look like today. You can see immense growth that took place from 2013 to today. We're about 6 times bigger than we were in 2013. 6x revenue of what we were at that time. And it was an incredible venture for us, an incredible time for us, and we ended up bringing over 7,000 new associates into our company at that time. And so we've got a great history in Birmingham over these 123 years, and I would share with you that 2024 was a fantastic year for us as a company, not only from our business results, but because we got to make some wonderful announcement about some things that we're doing now and in the future. So in May of 2024, we officially announced our new facility, which is being built right now on the former Stock and Valve location in the Kingston community. And we're very grateful that we got the opportunity from our board of directors to give us the opportunity to invest over $330 million in that facility. And it's right in the middle of our hometown. That investment is going to allow us to keep 750 jobs. We expect to have at least another 50 that will be added. So over 800 jobs will be working out of this facility. And it also allowed us to stay in Birmingham and continue to call Birmingham our home, which we're thrilled about. We're making wonderful progress on that site. I just had a chance to tour it a couple of weeks ago. I'm actually going back out there today to take a tour. And it is slated to be open in 2027, right, Mr. Gorey? Got a thumbs up from the guy that's building it. So in 2027, it's a very special year for us because we turn 125. And we're going to throw a big party, so keep your eyes out for the invitation. We'll be having a really good celebration when we celebrate 125 years together. Now, I have a video. I didn't know Tad was bringing his, which was great, so it goes with mine. But Jim and his team were kind enough to do a video for us that shows drone footage of what the facility looks like right now. And I wanted to just kind of put it in scope for you because it is a massive project. And I want a big thanks to Brassfield and Gorey, who are building a facility, Uday, all our partners that we have in this, the design group, Williams and Blackstock, Hatcher and Schuster, and lots of other companies that we have involved that have been a big part of this. And I would tell you, it's pretty easy for me to keep tabs on the project because I drive up and down 2059 every day, or if I'm flying in and out of town, you can just look out the window and see it. It's obviously very visible from the interstate and by air, and that was really by design. As you probably know, this was a brownfield for a very long time. It was an eyesore in the community. It was just overgrown, and there were no plans for it. And our company made the decision to purchase this, understanding there were some challenges with the site, but we knew it was the right thing to do to create a brand new gateway into our city. And so what you're seeing now as the drone moves around the front is you're seeing the elevator shafts and the stairwells that are now going vertical. This is the front of the building which will be facing the interstate and towards the airport. And what was once a very unsightly piece of land, visible by all, is now going to become a beautiful gateway to the city of Birmingham and welcoming folks into our city and into our town, and we're very excited about that. Good work, Mr. Gorey. So this new facility is not just going to house our corporate headquarters. It's actually going to house our Birmingham Sales Center, our North Alabama Division team, our region, Central Alabama region, which we have representatives from each of those groups here today. So there's big group working out of there, and we'll have a state-of-the-art technology and distribution system in the back with our Verticue system. The other thing that I would tell you about this is this really illustrates what I would say is relationships that we have and have really helped us in the community with the city of Birmingham, Jefferson County, and the state of Alabama. We couldn't have done it without them, and they've been great partners in this throughout. So we're very, very happy about that and very pleased with the relationship we have with all of those groups. So you go back to 1902 and you look at what's going to happen in 2027. And we've come a long way in Birmingham, but we're building this for another 50 to 100 years. Our company doesn't plan on going anywhere. We love Birmingham, and it's our home, and we're very proud to call that our home. Now, I didn't know Tad was going to present today, but I'm thrilled that he has more great information than I did from the visuals. But we did get the opportunity recently to announce our new partnership with the Coca-Cola Amphitheater, and we're very excited about that and the opportunity that that brings for us. It is scheduled to open June, right in that time period, I believe, as we've announced the shows. As he said, it holds over 9,000 people. We've got, I think, over 20 shows already booked for 2025, which we're excited about having that opportunity. As you can see, another great opportunity to improve in a community, invest in a community, and make a difference in that community. This is just another close-up shot. And then I think the other part for me is the partnership, as you mentioned, that we've had with y'all from the very beginning, again, with the city, with the county, with Live Nation. These things matter, and we just want to continue to be part of the solution in these communities, to continue to invest. We've had a great history of that partnership, and we're going to continue that. You also may have heard recently that we announced that we are going to be the presenting sponsors of the region's Tradition Golf Tournament. Now, we've been involved with this tournament even as long ago when it was the Bruno Tournament many years ago. But we recently announced our partnership as a presenting sponsor. We're very excited about that. And as you may know, Children's of Alabama is one of the primary beneficiaries of that tournament. And Children's for us is special in many ways, but really one of the main ways is that Caroline Johnson, who I spoke about earlier, who was married to Crawford Johnson Sr., she actually helped raise the original money. She was one of the people in the community that raised the original money in 1911 to build Children's Hospital. And so for us to be able to be tied to that and again be able to support Children's is fantastic. I'm going to add a few last items that we continue to invest and sponsor with. So we recently announced our partnership with the World Police and Fire Games, which is going to be here in June. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to have first responders from all over the world that are going to be participating in that. I'm excited to see that. Steve Ammon keeps telling me about all the cool stuff that they're going to be doing, so I'm really looking forward to all the different competitions that they're going to have. And then we also are very strong partners with the Birmingham Promise, Culture City, and then a wonderful partnership that we have with UAB and Live Health Smart Alabama. These are additional programs in the community that we partner with, and I can't name all of them, but what I would tell you is from our company standpoint, again, part of our core values is to continue and invest in the community where it matters. We want to be where the people are and where we can assist and be a part of the solution across all of our markets. This is just here in Birmingham, but if you went to Atlanta or you went to Baton Rouge or New Orleans, you would see very similar type of investments. It's really kind of the DNA at the way this company has been created and the legacy that has been left to us. I'm carrying on the tradition that was started long before me in the investments that we make. So I'm going to close with this. This is a picture of our core values, and it's something that we take. It's very personal to us. It's very important to us. It's in every one of our facilities. I think if you ask any of our leadership team, they'd be able to recite this. But as it clearly states that we as a company, we exist and excel for the benefit of our associates, our consumers, our customers, and our communities and our owners. And when this was written, and I give Claude all the credit for this and the board, it was very purposeful in the way it was written. Who is first is the associates. And it is our belief that if we as a company take care of our associates first, the rest of those stakeholders will also be well taken care of. especially the owners, which are last, by the way, in this list. And so that's the mindset that the company has. We're going to make sure and take care of the associates. They'll take care of the community. They'll take care of the consumers and the customers and so on. And so with that, again, just wanted to share a little bit about our company and what we believe is the right thing to do. And again, I thank you to our partners that are in the room and everything that you're doing to help us.